So welcome back. So we did our PCR tests, and that's basically it's a home kit that they give you at the airport, and you take it back home, and it's via a contracted group that does this, and it's rather a silly process. And I'll give you the basics of it. So the idea is you've got a PCR test tube there. There's fluid inside of it that keeps your molecular test okay. You've got, the thing that you stick up your nose. And of course, you can't just do it yourself. You got to do it with somebody watching there, right? Yeah, but, you're doing it via telehealth, which means basically you have to have a computer with a stable Wi-Fi connection and a camera. So just already you can see that this is requiring someone to have a whole bunch of technology in order to officiate the process that they want done. So you can imagine that's a bit of an issue. So we got that all set up in the morning, all set to go, had everything laid out. I hopped on the thing. I've got the recommended operating system. I've got the recommended browser that they want. I put on the thing. Their video doesn't work. So, what's their solution to that? Well, do you have another device? So not only do I have to have one computer with all the settings that they want, I have to have a second computer with all the settings that they want. So we goofed around with that for 30 minutes trying to set that up. Finally, my wife's computer actually did work. Mine, for some reason, didn't, even though I hit the accept, and then you're dealing with somebody that's typing into a thing saying, well, did you hit the thing? Yeah, I've got a PhD in this. I understand how to press the two buttons that this requires. Because, of course, they assume that you're like, a dinosaur and don't understand how, you're a T-Rex with small arms that can't press buttons or press the buttons that they want you to press. Here's the issue with this. Why does it require me to press buttons? It should just work. Use Zoom or use, something that works. But no, they have to have their own proprietary methodology for it, meaning that some, programmer that they've hired in on an internship has gone in and put in the most basic API from wherever and doesn't know how it works. And of course, if there's any problems, they can't fix it because they're a trained nurse, not an IT specialist, and I can't fix it because I don't have access to the things that I would require to fix it. So that's the start of this frustration. And of course, you're supposed to wash your hands and have everything there. Well, I'm touching a computer. And those things are dirty. Anyhow. So finally got onto there. But then, oh no, it's not for one person, it's a group call. So we've got to angle ourselves now. And my wife and I are doing these tests side by each with these, things up our nose. Because that's sanitary. And that's going to ensure that you get a good sample. So we do the thing, and then you got to fill out all the stuff and put the Purelator thing on, and then you got to wipe down the bag with an alcohol wipe. The bag that you're going to hold anyhow at some other point to move it to wherever they would like it to move it. And this is where we hit the next fun thing. So we have a Purelator bag. That means that a courier will come to your address. There's a problem with that. So this is Niagara-on-the-Lake. Niagara-on-the-Lake, inside of the postal service systems, uses boxes for everything. I have a P.O. box. Even though there is a associated street address with every P.O. box. So for every P.O. box in the town, there's associated address with that P.O. box, but you could send something just to the P.O. box. You could also send something to an address, but that requires them at the place to then, look that up, and there's an additional time period. Now, this gets into a lot of problems because for example, I buy things on Amazon. It says, we don't ship to P.O. boxes. So there's kind of a phantom P.O. box. Now, let me explain the concept maybe of a P.O. box to those that are not familiar. The normal idea of a P.O. box is you could just go, and I'm, wherever, I could just go and rent a P.O. box. And the idea of that is there's not an associated address with the P.O. box. You just go and do it. So this is, for example, like say that I'm running a business out of my house and I don't want to put my house address on the business. Or say that I may be, like these days, a YouTuber, and I don't want to give my address when I give you some place to send me things. Now, a courier service wants you to give them an address. The issue with that is they have a drop-down box. The drop-down box gets its information from the official post office records. You can't just fill in, here's my street address. No, you actually have to go and select an address that exists in the system of the postal service. Not the Purelator service, mind you. Because Purelator could probably figure this out. Now you have to do it through their proprietary thing because they want you to ensure that you're doing it to their way. This is a bit of a problem because the address that we are at, in terms of the post office system, doesn't exist. Just doesn't exist. There's a driveway right there. That's where the Purelator truck could go. I can't tell them. I can't tell them because nobody has fought this bloody thing through. So, now I got parents in town. Here's the problem. Same problem. Same issue. I can't look up their address. My mother-in-law, who lives 20 to 30 minutes away, however, she does show up in the system. So that means that my mother-in-law had to come over to grab the Purelator package, to take it to a different city, to have it shipped to a different city by Purelator. The other bit of this is you could go and drop it off at one of their drop-off locations, but the only way that you can drop it off at one of their drop-off locations is to put in an address. Also, I would have to, have a car to go and move this here. The system is broke. Don't use proprietary systems for these things. Or have some option that allows me to actually put in my bloody address. That's my thoughts. Stay safe. Wash your hands.